Hello, everyone. Um, well, I forgot what day this is. I don't know, 9, 10. I didn't forget. I got to go back and look. But anyway, it's Wednesday, and had a great day again today. Fasted 17 hours. Um, after during my fast, I have coffee and green tea. I really have got on that green tea. It's very, very good for you. But I do my coffee. I can't put cream in my coffee, which is that's been a thing I've trying to learn, change my taste buds, because I always laughed about it. I've always had what I call foo-foo coffee. Mine was full of cream and sugar, and like hazelnut and stuff. I had a little coffee with my cream before. I liked it sweet, like everything else in my life, and so no cream. No milk, nothing with calories. I can't have anything with calories because as soon as I have anything with calories, it'll break my fast, and I don't want to break it. I want to get all the benefits I can get out of it for the 16, 17, 18 hours, whatever I'm in it every day, or my 3 days a week. So I'm very cautious about what I put in it. I do put salt in it. One of the things I'm finding out on this diet, I drink water when I want it. I feel like my body will tell me when it needs water. And when I was on carbs, I didn't drink a lot of water, I'll be honest with you. Now that I'm doing this, I drink a lot of water. I mean a lot. Because it tastes good, my body wants it. And also, it's because my body is cleaning out my system. The way I'm eating, it is getting rid of bad stuff. So it's also getting rid of electrolytes. Well, I need that pink Himalayan salt because that salt is good for you. That salt is full of minerals and trace minerals. And so I'm getting them from that. So I put that salt in my coffee, believe it or not. And don't make it salty. It's kind of neat. So I put the salt in there and I put a couple spices in there, which I've showed y'all before. Things that have no calories, but yet I want them in my body. They're good for me in all kinds of different ways. And then I will actually put a little bit of Bragg's organic apple cider vinegar in there. I don't put a lot, teaspoonful and maybe 2. And, it's okay. It's not bad. And that's the way I drink my coffee. And then when I get to my green tea, 90% of the time I put those same spices in there, of course more of them because I'm drinking out of a big old 32-ounce tea glass, and stir it all up. And now I do put stevia. Okay, stevia does not break your fast. You can use stevia. So both of my coffee and my tea, I put stevia in, and you use it like you would use sugar. If you use a teaspoonful, you use a teaspoonful of that. It is sweet, but it does not break your fast. It has 0 calories. It doesn't spike your sugar, and so it doesn't spike your insulin. So it's fine. And I've checked my sugar. I got that monitor, and I literally will drink my coffee in the morning, and in a little bit, I will give it a little bit to get in my system, and I'll check my sugar. It don't move. Same thing with the tea. I'll be drinking my tea. I'll check my sugar. It don't move. So it does not affect you with the stevia. And there's another one called electrothral sugar. And it will do 0 to you also. That is another one I want to get because they come in a big bag, of sugar. And but it will do 0 to your insulin levels, and it has no carbs. So I can use it too. So I'll get both of them. And you can bake with them. You can do all kinds of stuff with that sugar, and you'll be fine. You'll be able to stay on this keto diet. And I've been checking my sugar constantly. I've poked my fingers so much now they're sore because I've been tracking my sugar. I mean, I'll do it in 30 minutes. Then I do it at an hour. Then I do it at 2 hours. And the goal is you don't want your sugar. Well, one, you want it in a very good range, which my fasting sugar seems to be about 92, 90 to 92. So you don't want it to go up. Like this morning I got up, it was 92. First thing in the morning after I got up, and before I had coffee, before I had anything, it was 92, which for me is great because mine's usually 250 to 300. So when I say 92, that is a huge deal for me. And what was I going to tell? Oh, you don't want your points, the way it measures you. You don't want it to go up more than 30. Okay, anything over that, you're going to spike your insulin. Well, mine has not even got it. It hadn't done the 30. The most mine has been after I've eaten a big meal. It'll go to the highest it has went from 92 is 118. So that's great. Actually, I could go all the way to 122. I think it is if you added the 30 to it. But so I'm fine, and most of the time it's not even 118. It's hanging in there at 112, 105, 108. So it's been great, absolutely, all day long. So that tells me that my sugar is staying level. My insulin is staying level. That means that's keeping me in ketose, where the ketones are helping to burn my fat, release my fat, where I can burn it for energy. So it's working. Now, if I was exercising, it would be working a lot better and a lot faster to burn my own fat, because of course it's burning some of the fat that I'm eating. So that's my goal, is to get to that exercise point. I'm not there yet. Physically, I still think the medications that I am on, well, I know one of them affects me, which is the blood thinner, and it just messes with me pretty bad, so I can't wait to get off it. But I got till July. My last stint was in July, so in July I can get off of that. But just the goal is to really keep your insulin down. That hormone, when it spikes, it just does so many bad things in your body. Number one, it cuts off all fat burning and goes to fat storage. That's the first thing it does. And typically, hey, you're on the American Standard diet, high carbs and low proteins and zero fats. That's exactly the way you stay every time you put something in your mouth. It's amazing how wrong they were. Which, they started that type of diet, actually, I believe, right in the 70s, 60s to 70s. And they started it off a study they did on pregnant women that was flawed, and they didn't do the study right. It's been proven now, but that's what started that whole thing, and it went worldwide for the low fat. And of course, the food companies jumped on band and went to everything low fat, and they took the fat out and they added more carbs in so it still would taste good. So then we started getting double the carbs. Like I said before, if the standard American diet, higher carbs and lower proteins and lower fats, especially the fats, we'd all be healthy. It don't work. We're all in bad shape. So that's kind of the thing on that. That's where it started. And like I said, even back in the 20s, they knew about this keto diet. Doctors developed it for children. I think I've told y'all that before, the story of how keto got started. But of course, it got pushed under the rug as the pharmaceuticals, big pharma, become super powerful and super rich off of us because of us being sick from the standard American diet. But look, this diet, even in its extremes, there's a pretty wide variation of a keto diet. It's according to what you're trying to do with it. You can lose weight with it. You can get healthy from heart disease. You can get healthy from a fatty liver. You can get healthy from autoimmune diseases, depression, mental things, depression, bipolar. There's a lot. And like if you get on YouTube, you can look up, let me see her here, Mikhail Peterson. It's Mikhaila Peterson. That poor girl, as a young girl, man, she's messed up, or was messed up. She had autoimmune disease. She, at I think 8 years old, she had arthritis in her bones. I think at 12, she had a hip replacement from the arthritis, and an ankle replacement from the arthritis. She also was bipolar. She's manic depressive. I mean, bad depression, the kind that, you know, you don't want them to hurt themselves, depression. She was on every mental type of drug that the doctors could put her on, plus drugs for her autoimmune, drugs for her arthritis. And, you know, I've seen videos when she was on the drugs, and she looked very drugged and very dead, just not a lively person. At a young age girl, she still is young, but now she took keto to the extreme and completely cut out carbs 100%, and she eats only meat and salt. That's all she eats. That's it, because she's found out as long as she stays on meats, fats, and meats. And salt, all of her problems, every one of them, go away, which is amazing. She is now completely off of meds, 100%, with everything in check. No issues with any of her problems, just from going to this extreme carnivorous. They call it a carnivorous diet or a carnivorous keto diet. But basically, she has 0 carbs, and she's been doing that for a long time now. And she's tried to introduce things. If you ever look at it, she's tried to introduce stuff back in, and every time she tries to put something back in, she has a major flare-up of every one of her problems. So as long as she stays away from carbs and those things, and just eats the meat and the organ meats, regular meat, and fats with salt, she has 0 problems. And the last video, you know, seen her, she said, well, that's it. I'll never introduce anything else again, because when she goes into an episode, especially with the depression and the manic stuff, it might be a month or 2 before she comes out of it. And like one time she tried to introduce, I think, a salad, just a plain lettuce salad, and it sent her in a depression for a month, and she said she cried for a whole month. You know, it's terrible. And of course, she wasn't on any drugs at the time because she was healed. She had healed herself with the diet. She should have never, you know, tried the stuff, but she did, and she won't do it again. So this diet, it is the way we're supposed to eat, no matter what the mainstream says, and that's changing. There's more doctors today that have got out of the pill-pushing doctor syndrome. You know, that they're a good doctor because they send you to the meds, and they basically, doctors got tired of treating the symptoms, because that's all they do. They're just going to treat your symptoms when you go see them. They're not going to treat the underlying problem, or they don't even try to figure out why you're like you are. I watched a cardiologist, you know, a very major cardiologist, and now he's advocate of this, and he's promoting it 1,000%. But he said, you know, he was in many people's chest, triple bypasses, you know, quadruple bypasses, people that was really close to death, just like me. And he said he started noticing that when he get in there, what he could see on every patient was a very swelling redness, which is inflammation. And so that's what changed him, and he started doing all the studying, and that's what led him to the keto diet. The high fat, medium protein, very low carbs. And he said inflammation was what was causing the heart attacks, which was coming from your high insulin. And he said, you know, sugar is what's causing the heart attacks. He said, I'm totally telling you right now, sugar, carbohydrates are causing heart attacks. It is not your cholesterol. He's come to the conclusion that the cholesterol really does not play the role everybody thought it did. And like I've said before, you know, my cholesterol's going to do some weird things to me on this diet. And everybody's a little different what it does to them. But the point is, LDL is the bad one, Well, you know what? It really doesn't matter. Your body needs it. It's making it. It's not coming from dietary fat. It's coming from your liver. Your liver creates cholesterol, all of them. And so it's making it because your body needs it. Now, the problem is when you're eating a sugar-based diet, a carb-based diet, and you're getting all them sugars, and you're getting your carbs, which instantly turn to sugar in your body. When that sugar meets up in your body with LDL, it oxidizes it. Okay, it's like rust. That's what happens to steel when it gets oxidized. It gets rusty. It gets a cancer. So when your LDL meets the sugar and it oxidizes, that's what's getting clogged in your arteries. Then you're going to have inflammation because your sugar levels, your carb, your insulin is so high, it's causing heart attacks. So with me, I don't really care what my LDL is going to be. When I, do my test, I've done my first blood work, which was the old me, on drugs. Now, the next one I do in 6 months will be totally away from statins. I told you I didn't quit that stuff. It's terrible for you. And I wish I'd have never took it, but I have for a few years. And I'll just have to try to eat my way out of that, so to speak. It's kind of weird, but, eat my way back to health now that I'm eating the right way. But I'm curious to see. But I don't care, even if my LDLs are high. I know my HDLs are going to be high. My triglycerides, God, I can't even talk tonight, should be where they should be. So I'm not worried about it. My body will take care of that. What I am worried about is keeping the sugar out of my diet. I am 100% completely sugar-free. But let me tell y'all something. You got to be careful if you're going to do this diet, what you put in your mouth, because a lot of things have got what they call hidden carbs and hidden sugars in them. Like I posted something on my Facebook, out of a bottle of ketchup, like Heinz ketchup, whatever, about this big, a big bottle. Well, about that much of it, a third of that bottle is the sugar content. And I didn't realize ketchup had that much sugar in it. Now, you can find there are companies that make ketchup with no added sugars. They don't put any in them. And, you got to look at how much sugar's in them, but check them out. But they're out there. But condiments are the worst thing in the world. Barbecue sauces, come on. They're terrible. You need to learn how to maybe make your own barbecue sauce. But there are companies making keto-style barbecue sauces. I found one the other day. I don't know if any stores around here sell it, but I'll do some research and find out, because I love to cook on the grill. And that's, I'm planning on hopefully doing that this weekend. But it's you got to watch what you eat, and you got to watch vegetables. All vegetables are not created equal. There's some of them that are huge on the carb end, and of course no starches. Absolutely no starches. No potatoes, no rice. I've just found recipes that I'm going to try that it's taking radishes and cooking them the same way you would cook, say, a little red potato, putting them in stews, and they look awesome. And everybody that I've listened to say they're unbelievable the way they taste. They don't taste like a raw radish. Cooking them does something to them. So you can use them in place of potatoes, as far as like whole potatoes. Like I used to cut up potatoes in my green beans, and cut up potatoes to put in a pot roast, and used them in a lot of ways like that. And of course, my mashed potatoes now, I'm doing them totally different. There is no potato. It's cauliflower. Cauliflower is something you can eat. Kale is very good for you. You still got to watch the carbs on it. Collard greens, asparagus, bok choy. There's a lot of things I've never ate in my life that I'm going to eat. And another thing is something I don't like, never have ate it, I'm going to get used to it, is sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is super, super healthy for you. I posted something about that on my Facebook too. About how, like, I don't know, just a few ounces of that stuff is like 500 pills or something like that of probiotic. So, I mean, food is so important to us, to our bodies, the right foods. It is medicine. And done the right way, it's more powerful than the medicine. Because y'all watch TV and every commercial comes on about drugs, legal drugs. They'll say, oh, this is going to fix your whatever the drug is for. And then they'll have 100 things that the guy speaks 100 miles an hour, or it's in fine print about everything it's going to do to you. Bad, it's like, hey, take this pill, it's going to help your kidneys, but it's going to make you go blind. It could give you a heart attack. It's going to make you have blood clots. You could die from lung disease. It just goes on and on and on. It just floors me when they do that. Well, that's the way pharmaceutical drugs are. They're synthetic, they're not natural, and they shouldn't be in your body. Now, I understand, you got to be on them sometimes. The point is, if you're on them and you can do something like this and get a doctor that'll work with you to get you off of the drugs, it can happen. It's happened many, many times. It's, some of these people, I've told you to go look at their YouTubes, like Dr. Berg, Eric Berg. He sees patients every day. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He's been doing it for years. He's helping people get rid of their medicines. There's just tons of them that you can go. Doctors that have clinics, the one from Duke University. He actually sees people at Duke University. It's 100% keto. And I've listened to many of his seminars. And he said, hey, at one time I was your doctor that would prescribe you medications. That's what I thought being a good doctor was, helping you get rid of your symptoms. He said, now I don't do that. I prescribe food. It's 100% food. And I get you off of the medications other doctors have put you on. So there's a lot of people you can look out there. His Adapt Your Life is a very good YouTube, and that's where Dr. Weissman's at from Duke University. And he's also on another one. I'm trying to look for it. I can't see it right off the top of my list here. But another guy to look at is Dave Feldman. He's an engineer that has completely figured the whole system for your cholesterol. It's amazing. There's tons of people that do this in a full-on practice every day. They're helping thousands of people with life-threatening diseases, and it's awesome. And I've, like I said, I've just from the people that have contacted me, commented, sent me some private message and stuff. I think that's cool. I'm definitely open to that. Told me some of the things that's going on in their life. They're on 2 or 3 sugar pills. Well, here's the thing about this diet. It is so powerful that this one doctor I'm talking about, if you go to him and you're on insulin, which is the worst you can be with sugar. You've got it so bad you're on insulin. And insulin can kill you if you overdose on it or you take it wrong and you don't eat. And, there's just a lot of complications with it. Well, immediately, if you see him today and you're starting that diet tonight, he's cutting your insulin by 50% immediately. That's how fast and potent this way of eating is, because it's the way your body's supposed to be. So that's pretty impressive. But it's working for me. I'm checking my sugars so much just because I want to know what I'm eating is not affecting me. Even the big meal I just had. Oh, well, I hadn't told you about that. I come off my fast, my normal thing. I ate some sardines. I'm starting to like them things. They actually taste pretty good. And like I told you before, they're full of omega-3s. And you need omega-3s to combat the omega-6s that's in your body. Omega-6s is not good. They have to be controlled. Well, omega-3, you need a lot more omega-3 over your omega-6s. So I'm getting them that way. I'm getting them, from the fish that are just super healthy. So I ate that, and then I waited my, hour to hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I had a bigger meal, which I kind of did what I did yesterday, a little bit different scenario. I did a couple of eggs. I put bacon in it. I put sausage in it, and I put cheese in it. And I put heavy whipping cream in it. Kind of turned it into a quiche with a heavy whipping cream. And that's all I put in it. Well, and then my spices and salt and pepper and that sort of stuff. And that's what I had. And right after that, I checked my sugar. It was great. It went up a little. It goes from, in my 90s or whatever up to 105. I mean, nothing major. It was perfect. And then tonight, that other huge thing of spaghetti, baked spaghetti, which was not spaghetti. It was spaghetti squash. And I ate the last of it. When I made it for me and my wife, one of my problems is when I cook too big. At one time it was me and my wife and 4 kids. So I just ain't never learned to cook small. I cooked too big. I had like 8-9 servings of the stuff, and me and my wife ate it 2 nights. And then I brought it up here and ate it 2 nights. But it's gone now. Thank God. I don't want no more of it. But the side effects of this diet is you're not going to be hungry. You're really not going to crave sugars and sweets. You really won't. You're gonna find out you're gonna most likely start drinking more water. But having the tea and the coffee, I don't feel deprived at all. I mean, at all. And look, from a big old fat guy, that's a lot to say. And I'm being honest on this channel. I'm telling y'all everything. If I mess up, you're gonna hear it on this channel. This is a 100% a test, and it's all the truth. I wouldn't hide anything. If I screwed up, made a donut, I will tell you, which I won't, because I don't want them. And to tell you the truth, I'm not hungry. Even when I eat, I do it because I know I'm supposed to. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know. But I've been fasting 17 hours, and I'm not really super hungry. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and eat my sardines. And then when time for my next meal to come around, I'll eat that. But I think pretty soon I'm going to cut down to 2 meals a day instead of the 3. Which, the first 2 are kind of one meal. They're just split in half, But I really think I'm going to break my fast, and then I'm going to eat later that afternoon, and that's it. The problem is, I'm trying to stay... I went back and read my program that I'm following a little bit more, so I'm not too bad off. Really I'm supposed to be... For the first month, I'm supposed to be at 1,800 calories. Well, I'm not. I think I've hit 1,800 calories one day. Most of the day, like today was 16. Yesterday was 12. I think a 15 the day before. So 1,500, 1,200, 1,800. So I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. And then I'm supposed to be getting 18. Well, then the second phase of this, which is the second month, I'm supposed to drop it to 16. So I'm not going to have any problem with that. And then I got to go back and read for the last month. It's a 3-month program, which I'm going to do it a whole lot more than 3 months. I'm going to pretty much do it forever in different variations. I got a long way to go. I got a lot of health issues I got to fix through this. And I will. I'm 100% confident that my fatty liver is going to go away. I'm going to, I hate to say cure, but that's what I'm going to do with my heart disease. And I'm going to prove that through exams and blood work. And I didn't tell y'all, but I did talk to my cardiologist when I saw him. And I got to go back here next week or 2 weeks. I got to look at my calendar. But they're going to do an exam to both of my carotid arteries, okay? They go in there with that little machine, I forgot what it's called. They use it on pregnant ladies on their belly to see the baby. Sonogram. And they do that with both arteries, and they measure them. They judge how thick they are, how clogged they are, and kind of what the age of them is. So mine might come back where I'm a 90-year-old man by my arteries. But I've other people that have done this, other doctors that have done this to themselves. That will dramatically get better. So let's just say I'm 70, 80, 90, whatever in here, which I know they're pretty bad. Well, in a year from now, they might be where I'm back in my 50s, where I am 55. So that's the way I plan on proving this diet is the way to do, and that it is the way your body wants it, and that your body then, by feeding it the right things it needs, that it will heal itself. I'm going to prove that through this. That's my goal. That's why I call it an experiment. So that's my plan. I will be adding some more stuff here pretty soon, because there is a mixture of I can get to make a drink to get all of my electrolytes, all of my trace minerals back in my body. I'm going to have to do that. I need to do that because my body is just cleaning itself out, getting rid of all that stuff. So I got to replace it with the good stuff. I'm going to do that. There's a couple different supplements I'll call them, that I'm going to take. When I do, I will show them to you. I will let y'all know everything that I'm eating, everything that I'm doing. Like I said, I'm not going to hide anything. This video is a little longer, but that's my plan, is to put everything on this channel. One, I want a record of it, and proof of what I've been doing. That's why I do this every day. I know some of the days, well, all the days are pretty much the same. I'm a pretty rigid person, and I kind of like, it's simpler for me to kind of eat the same things. You know, breaking my fast with the same thing, or my first little meal after that, about the same thing. Usually my dinner, my supper will be different. You know, either a good steak or that high protein, high fat spaghetti stuff I did, very low carb. You know, and now another thing, I told y'all that if you really want to make sure your meat is very extremely healthy, non-GMO, grass-fed, grass-finished, and all that, there's a place that I found. It's called Butcher Box, and I ordered meat through them. They got you know, like for me and my wife or a whole family, you know, size box, and you pick the size of the box you want. The box I picked, $150. $149. I don't mind telling you. And it come today. My wife called me and said, well, it's here. And she said, this thing's about 50 or 60 pounds of meat. And I got a ton of meat. I got all of it's grass-fed, all of it's non-GMO, all of it's 0 hormones. It is the best meat you can buy. And it's probably going to average out about $6.50 a meal. Well, let's say $7, under $7 a meal. Is what it's going to average out. And it's a lot of meat. And when I ordered it as a first time order, they gave me a little deal, and I got a keto, what they call their keto box, and so they gave me some extra stuff. But I've got a pork butt that I'm going to do on the grill. We got baby back ribs, we got chicken, we got ribeye steaks, we got bacon, pork meat, Italian sausage, and breakfast sausage.